For her second feature, the Greek filmmaker Sofia Exarchou decided to focus on a troupe of employees at a Greek beach hotel. This gang see themselves as beautiful freaks, but in reality, they are crushed by their job spreading party vibes wherever they go, a job which necessitates an endless smile, bottomless energy, and constant drinking. Sofia, hi, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for inviting.
So look, congratulations on Animals. I saw it 2 days ago. I was blown away. I thought it was visceral, it was emotional, it was political. I've had Yes Sir, I Can Boogie stuck in my head for over 48 hours now. But I'm interested to know, at what point did you decide that you wanted to make a film based on, I don't know, the behind the scenes of the Greek tourism industry?
Yes. I think I decided pretty soon after my previous film, but not in the extent that I explored it as years of writing. So in the beginning, it was only my idea about work and working system in capitalism. And then pretty soon I decided also that, okay, for me, this working system is going to be the tourist industry, because it's something I know as Greek. And I think, it's the milestone of our economy. We know how it plays out every summer. We know the hard conditions of the workers. They work 24/7 for 5-6 months in a row. But I think for me, the point when I realized that this is going to be the film is when I decided that I'm not going to talk about any employees inside the hotel resort, but these employees are going to be the animators of this hotel. So the subject of entertainment entered, which I really wanted to explore also, and how is entertainment also, a huge part of the capitalist, structure. And of course, I felt related to that because I'm also a filmmaker, and I, about performance, and, they're also, they have to perform every night, the animators and stuff. So all this together, with this subject and elements, I was pretty confident that I can create a universe in which I would make the stories of these girls and all of the group.
Yeah, one of the decisions that kind of first struck me that I wasn't anticipating was it would have been very easy to have, kind of antagonists who run the hotels, or tourists who are total scumbags.
Yeah.
But you don't have either of those things.
Or even in between them. Maybe, I think many of the viewers, when they watch the film, maybe when the younger girl comes, the first stereotype idea that can come is, now it's going to be built up a story about the antagonist of the younger and then older. And I also enjoyed the idea that people will think that the story will go there. And for me, it's actually the complete opposite. And not only the opposite, meaning that they create a bond, the two girls, but the opposite also as an experience for the viewer, that these girls and their stories mingle in a way as the film goes. Almost like you feel Eva could be the possible backstory of Kaya. Mm-hmm. So they mingle in such a way that they become almost like one female character in the end. So, for me, it was interesting that the viewer might thought that, now I'm going to see a story about an antagonistic relationship about the younger and the older and stuff, and it's completely something else. For me, that was easy to decide that the antagonist, who is the antagonist. So for me, it was the system. And not the system as a person, to personalize it, like managers, the system as the huge machine that is above even the managers, because they're also part of the machine, maybe in a higher level inside the structure, but still. So I knew that, and I knew also that then the antagonist is going to be her own self. Yeah. I mean, about Kaya, that she has to confront herself and realize what she is feeling. But saying that, although I knew I was really precise that this is the way I want to narrate, it was really difficult because it's much easier if you find an antagonist that will create easier conflicts. If either it's the girl or the manager or the bad tourist. But then if you say none of them and all the group, they're also like a family, and the young girl will have a bond, and even the tourist that will come in the end is going to be a tender guy, then how you create the drama. But I was confident in my idea that I wanted to narrate it with this idea in mind, that the antagonist is only the system. The invisible system.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what I was about to say. It's not like you have lots of scenes of people putting their cash cards in and it not working and them worrying about their rent. You assume the audience are intelligent enough to know that life is really difficult at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just talking about the Radio Jude film as well, which kind of touches on similar aspects. And obviously, life is getting harder and harder. Have you found that making films is getting harder and harder?
In Greece, it was always really hard, so I cannot even remember to compare. But for me, when they ask me what was the most difficult in the whole process, and I think it's a quite difficult film to create, meaning that it has a lot of characters, locations, shows, choreography. I'm not a choreographer, it has a lot of stuff to do. The most difficult was the financing, the years of financing. I knew when I was writing that I was actually getting actions from the first scenes. I was like, I have 100 extras here. I will never have the money for 100 extras, So I knew from the beginning that the funding will take years. And that was stressful even when I was still writing the script, because I knew that to make this kind of budget, which is not big, but for a Greek film, it's quite big. We will need a lot of co-production countries, a lot of years to develop, to wait for the answers and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty hard. And I think what, keeps going is that, the collaborators and, the love for the job.
Did you write the character of Katia with the actress? I'm afraid I don't know her name.
Kaya.
Did you write the character with the actress in mind?
Well, with Dimitra, who plays Kaya, we collaborated in my previous film. She was there, the girl of the story. Mm-hmm. The previous film is about a group of boys teenager, but there is one filmmaker, and that was played by Dimitra. So in a way, when I was writing, I had her figure in my mind, also because in a vague way, Kaya in this script for me is like has some connections with Anna, the girl in Park. Like, there was, what if we meet this girl 10 years after, where would she be? It was a possible future for her, the new story. So with these two things in mind, I was thinking about Dimitra a lot. But I was afraid also, to decide, because it's a very difficult character for me. And I was really clear in my mind how I imagined. So we auditioned together. I knew also she's dancing really well because she studied also, she was in the National Dancing School before going to the National Acting School. And I knew that this character needs to have very good dancing skills also. So yes, I have her always in my mind. And then we audition and we start working together.
The character of Kaya, with her, utter reliance on the world of nightlife and, and drinking and these hotels. Is it fair to say she's kind of a metaphor for Greece and the Greek economy?
Herself, you mean? I think all of them in a way. And I mean all, not only the animators, also the tourists, all the structure itself is what we sell. This and the status and, the leg with the status, this is like how we can, survive. We have to sell ancient history for so many years now. We have to make tourists have fun. That's it. Yeah. So it's not only here for me, it's all of them.
Have you spent much time in these types of resorts in Greece?
Never. But I spent time during research. So I went inside these resorts. I filmed shows. But I also searched in YouTube for animator shows in Latin America or on a cruise boat or whatever animator show I could find in the internet to watch. Did you have fun
at the resorts when you went to research?
Actually, not fun. The opposite. One time we went with Yorgos. One of the first times we visited a resort. He already knew the script. I was like in my first drafts, but the story was there. And we entered to see this. We actually sneaked inside the resort and tried to see and it was summer, but all the tourists were inside the indoor place, which is crazy. Instead of being by the sea with a cocktail or something, we were inside this trashy theater place in the hotel. And we watched for 2 hours a show of animators. And it has some funny moments, of course, but it was so sad, the experience. that for me it was the moment that, okay, I mean, I am right. I know why I'm doing this. It confirmed to me my process already. How, seeing those people working and what they were doing, and the voyeurism, the exploitation, the easy gags, and all the joy that comes out of this. It was really weird and sad.
It's a very emotional film, obviously, but it's also, I suppose, perhaps this is also obvious because it's about dancing, but it's also a very physical film. There's a lot at the start, which a lot of kind of sculptural shots of the human body that kind of remind me of Claire Denis or something like that. And like there's a gruesome self-surgery scene. Did you want to make something that was visceral, more visceral than your average drama, to reflect the basically the pain that these people are putting their bodies through?
Well, in the first level, it was the first level, meaning that animators have to dance and perform all day, so they use the body 24/7, and for sure the body gets tired, and they have to have mechanism to deal with it, and the mechanism can be even self-destructive, meaning they need alcohol to get energy to perform, and maybe they need again alcohol after working 15 hours to relax and be able to sleep or whatever. So the body was in the center because it was the tool for them. But after that, for me, I think that I'm trying through my films to bring the viewer closer to the body of the characters, as a way sometimes to struck him, to give him a raw, intense image in order to understand what my character is going through, or even bring him closer to him in a tender way. And I think sometimes images of the body can say much more than what dialogue can express. And so, of course, it's because the characters are animators and they're working with their body. But for me, it's something that it's a way to express my story.
It's I think it's a very well structured film. You've already talked about how you basically tried to deceive the audience a couple of times, but there's also, at the beginning, certain assumptions are made about, maybe this is a family unit inside this group, and then that turns out not to be the case. Very devastatingly so, actually, in the last dancing scene where the little girl and our heroine kind of look at one another. But it's quite upbeat and joyous at the start, and I suppose were you trying to ensure that people love these characters before they felt bad for them?
Well, you cannot easily think about that when you write. I mean, I think only the thing that you love them as a creator will bring this love. You don't have to actually try to do it. If you love him for what he is, like for me, Kaya was strong, trying to be strong all the time, trying to do well her job, but at the same time hiding her sensitivity, hiding her problems. And for me, that was touching for me as a creator of this script. So I think I put a lot of love imagining them and spending time with them when I was writing, and also when I was working with the actors, because we kept developing them through improvisation, and they also gave characteristics of themselves to the characters. And we touch it, we progress it like, okay, let's be together. Let's make this weird family. They knew everything, but they brought details. So I think this care and this work then brings all these elements when somebody watches the film. And it was important to love them and understand them in a more deep level, apart from the political, in order for the viewer to be able to go through this kind of difficult and raw story, I think.
Where did you cast everyone from? Because they're all amazing performers.
Yes.
I wondered if any of them had actually come from hotels.
Not really, but 2-3 of them had experience by working in hotels or touring as a dance performance during holidays, or nightclub dancers, So there are 10 people, 6 of them are dancers, performers. And one, Simos, the boyfriend of Kaya, he comes from circus. He has been working for many years in circus. And then Kayas is also, as we said, actress and dancer. And then Eva and Thomas, they are only actors. And Sergei, who is playing the piano and he's an actor and a musician and a composer. So I was searching everywhere in all these areas of actors, dancers, performers, whatever. I had this idea that I want them to be like a modern circus. Somebody should be funny. One is the singer, one is the golden microphone from Kazakhstan, one is the strong, one is the sexy, and all this. And I was auditioning and start, imagining the whole of it together. And I arrived to this gang at the end.
And who did all the choreography? Because there's a couple of them that are like legit good. Yeah.
Trashy but good.
Yeah. Like the final space one is quite moving.
Yeah. Well, the choreographer is Christos Papadopoulos, who's a very well-known Greek choreographer. As I said, I watched a lot of videos, but that was just the base of my inspiration. Sure, yeah. So it was really interesting how I was trying to communicate stuff with him. Like, okay, Christos, because it's this element of the fish is in my film, I want to have a fish show. And he was like, what the hell is that? I said, yeah, they have to move together like a herb. Actually, he is doing there's some small connection, especially for this last one with his work. His work as a choreographer, I mean. So we built them together. I saw him a lot of videos, a lot of ideas, and we spent actually almost 2 months with the actors only for the choreographies. Okay. Because even if, like midgets, it's very difficult technically to accomplish. And because there was a combination of actors and dancers, so they were not only the same level of dancing skill, needed a lot of work to manage to do it. The same with the fish, it looks easy, but there is a movement of the bodies that is quite difficult. So when you see them all together, not to look unbalanced, the way they move. So yeah.
The other, I think, good achievement is that I genuinely don't think there's anything worse in cinema in the world than a bad nightclub scene where you can tell when people are fake dancing or whatever, perhaps the music at a slightly different rhythm. But you get there's a lot of authenticity about your scenes, especially kind of the phone parties and stuff. Were they a challenge to direct, or are there loads of extras in there, or is it?
Yeah, it wasn't. We entered this club and we got out of this club after 1 week of shooting, and like the one day before the last one, I entered in the break and all the actors are sleeping dead around the club, and you see some bodies like collapsing. And it was one more day to go, but of course we put the last day the wedding scene, which is kind of more easy regarding the dancing. But they were all completely dead. Foam party was actually even dangerous because they had to move, and this was really slippery. And it was for so many hours, all this foam was becoming water, and we were afraid of accidents and stuff. It was really hard for the bodies to be inside this club with all the foam and the music and the lights and really dark, and keep dancing for 5 days.
Yeah, that's tough. Why did you choose Yes Sir, I Can Boogie? Is it because you hate it or because you love it?
Actually, I think the funny thing is that I think people will believe that when I was writing the script, Yes Sir, I Can Boogie was from the beginning in my mind. Not at all. I was really afraid to choose this song because I thought it had a big importance in a very, very important scene of the film. So I was like, which is this song? I will never find this song. And I was always delaying this choice. So when you delay, it becomes even worse because then you say, okay, I will never find. But I started searching, and for some reason, with I Can Boogie, when I heard it, I could imagine it in this particular scene that it can play out well. And because of the lyrics also, it had something emotional, it has something female, it has something strong and sad, it had some energy that for me it was related to the movie.
It's also got something deferential about it. And saying, yes, sir, I can
yes,
boogie.
Sir, yes, sir. And the need, because actually that's what she's trying to make herself believe in the whole movie, that she can still keep boogieing. And then I pick some other songs I like also, and I share them all with Dimitra, because I wanted for her to feel comfortable and to feel related with the song. And she was also for Yes Sir, I Can Boogie. So we went for it. I said, okay, the most easy choice. Everybody will say, okay, she found the most. But it's true. I trust the feeling that it brought to the scene as we rehearsed it. That this gave some, strong emotion. And as I say, it became also the anthem of our crew because it was so difficult to shoot the film. So every time we were in a day off or something, we were singing Yes I Can Boogie. Like we have one more week, we can make it.
Yeah, it did occur to me that there may be some kind of comparison between what your actors had to go through and what the characters they're portraying have to go through.
Yeah, and we keep on saying that. Even the editor said, okay, I'm like Kaya. The sound designer said, I'm like Kaya. We finished actually 1 week ago, the film.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, congratulations.
So it was really hectic, the sound mixing and everything in the end. So we said, okay, guys, in order for you to make the best out of you have to feel really close to Kaya. So we have to work really hard. So that was the joke, yes. Not everybody was Kaya.
In general, how's the reaction been? In Greece and in Locarno?
In Greece, we don't know because the film hasn't been screened in Greece. It's our world premiere here. So I don't know. When I entered the screening, I didn't understand anything. I think I was just watching the film. My collaborator said, okay, they were laughing, they were enjoying, I couldn't understand the vibe. I was like really anxious. I feel it's good. I think there's a good buzz. There are people who come and talk to us and they felt emotional about the film and that the film was moving and they enjoyed a lot and it stuck a bit in their mind and stuff. The reviews were good, so I'm really happy.
Good. I'm pleased. Your last film, Park, was about the Olympic, kind of the derelict Olympic village from 2004, right? Which was kind of this last big cultural moment for Greece. I think you had the Olympics, you won the European Championships, and you won Eurovision all in 1 year. And then a few years later, there was the financial collapse.
The moment that we thought we can conquer the world.
Euros. And then there was the collapse. And obviously, the Olympic Park is a great kind of symbol of that. And it strikes me there's something in that, which is that kind of boom and bust narrative, which is quite replicated in this film as well. The highs and the lows, the hangovers. I wondered if you were consciously trying to grapple with the same issues or not.
I think that there was a different moment in my life also, living in Greece and the idea of Park, meaning that for me and for many people, of course, it was, for many people, it was a dream come true that the Olympic Games will come back in Greece after all these centuries and stuff. But actually, the Olympic Games was part of the collapse. All this huge fund, budget to make this happen in such a small country that doesn't need all these stadiums. There are games that we don't have actually at all. And we created all these stadiums for nothing, for a fiesta of 10 days. So it was also this that in the beginning of the crisis, like why we did that? Why are we so stuck with our past? Why we cannot understand what we're going through now? And I think this comes also here with some elements in the movie that I'm talking again about this how stuck we are with our past and how we exploit it and blah 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 blah. I think the main thing is that I enjoy a lot to start with a landscape that has for me some social, political issues that I'm really interested to talk about. And starting from this, idea to try to create a whole universe of elements, of characters inside this and whatever locations and stuff, to create a fictional world through which I can tell my stories and the subjects. So yeah, this is similar with the two movies.
Well, I think it's a really fantastic piece of work, and I'm really excited to see how it goes down in Greece and beyond.
I think for Greek, it will be much more difficult emotionally because everybody has in the family somebody who works in the industry, in tourism, and I think it's going to play out in a more...
will it be controversial?
We'll see. I mean, I think for sure it will not be happy, the industry, on the way I'm showing, presenting this aspect of tourism.
No, in my experience, Greeks are very defensive of the tourism, and understandably so. But look, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the film. Good luck.
Thank you.
Cheers.